two great powers, one inevitable war, a clash that would shape the ancient world. Rome and Carthage, once allies, now bitter enemies, would battle for supremacy in a war that would last over a century. This is the story of the Punic Wars. But to understand why Rome and Carthage went to war, we must first understand what made them so powerful. By the mid-3rd century BCE, Rome had conquered much of the Italian peninsula. It was a young, aggressive republic ruled by the Senate and led by its powerful legions. But Rome was not a naval power. Its strength lay in its disciplined land forces. Carthage, on the other hand, was the greatest maritime empire of the Western Mediterranean, a city of immense wealth located in modern-day Tunisia. Carthage controlled trade across North Africa, Spain, and the islands of the Mediterranean. Its navy was the most powerful in the known world. While Rome built its empire through military conquest, Carthage built its power through commerce and a mighty fleet. But despite their differences, Rome and Carthage coexisted until a spark ignited a war that neither side could avoid. The conflict started in Sicily, the largest island in the Mediterranean, positioned between Italy and North Africa. A strategic gem, both Rome and Carthage had interests there. In 264 BCE, a dispute between local factions in the city of Messina dragged both superpowers into war. At first, neither Rome nor Carthage wanted a full-scale war, but once they committed troops, there was no turning back. The First Punic War had begun. Rome, confident in its military, sent legions to Sicily. Their discipline and battle tactics quickly overwhelmed Carthaginian forces, who relied on mercenaries rather than citizen soldiers. By 262 BCE, Rome had seized the important city of Agrigentum. But Carthage was not out of the fight. They knew that Rome could not win this war without controlling the seas, and that was where Carthage had the advantage. At the start of the war, Rome had virtually no navy. Carthage, however, had warships that dominated the Mediterranean. If Rome wanted to defeat Carthage, it had to build a fleet, and fast. The Romans got lucky. They captured a stranded Carthaginian powerful warship. Using it as a model, Roman engineers built their own fleet, but with a twist. Since Roman soldiers were superior in land combat, they invented the corvus, a boarding bridge that turned naval battles into land battles. Instead of relying on ramming tactics like Carthage, Roman ships could now board enemy vessels and fight hand-to-hand. The first real test of Rome's new navy came at the Battle of Mylae in 260 BCE. The Carthaginians, confident in their naval supremacy, sailed to crush the Roman fleet, but they underestimated Rome's new weapon, the corvus. As the Carthaginians closed in, the Roman ships deployed their boarding bridges. The result, a brutal close-quarters fight where Roman soldiers overwhelmed the enemy. The victory at Mylae marked Rome's first major naval triumph, proving that it could challenge Carthage at sea. Despite this victory, the war was far from over. For 23 grueling years, Rome and Carthage fought across Sicily, with neither side gaining a decisive edge. Each battle pushed them closer to exhaustion. But Rome refused to give up. In 241 BCE, they launched a final assault that would bring Carthage to its knees. In a last-ditch effort to resupply their forces, Carthage sent a fleet to Sicily. But Rome, now fully experienced in naval warfare, intercepted them at the Battle of the Aegates Islands. The battle was a disaster for Carthage. Their fleet was obliterated, and with no way to support their troops, they had no choice but to surrender. The war had cost tens of thousands of lives and drained both sides. In the end, Carthage was forced to pay a massive indemnity and give up Sicily, Rome's first overseas territory. But this was not the end of the conflict, only the beginning. A young Carthaginian boy whose father had fought in the war swore revenge on Rome, his name Hannibal Barca, and in part 2 we will follow his legendary campaign, the crossing of the Alps, the Battle of Cannae, and the greatest challenge Rome would ever face. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the First Punic War, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Part 2 is coming soon, and trust me, you don't want to miss it. See you in the next episode.